The apocalypse is coming. Are you scared? Are you prepared? The masses are running, frantically running from their fears, running with their tears, running from their lives, running from that dark shadowed creature that hides deep inside.
Hey, what do you think of the new opening?
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah,
So
it's pretty cool.
Song was written by me, but it was and the art it's obviously AI, but it's kind of cool. It was a painstakingly, you could only do 6 seconds, so I had to like literally make different clips and edit them because not all the clips were good. There's about maybe 50, 60 clips, and out of all those clips, you could only use about 7 or 8 there. So
Wow. Yeah, that sounds really meticulous.
yeah, it's almost like editing any type of video, like remember when video cameras first came out and you wanted to like edit the film and
Those editing suites on the VHS, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I've worked with those. Oh, because it never really landed perfect on the spot that you wanted. It always
Yes.
sort of rolled back a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah. So no, I get it.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
It's cool though.
So how you been? What's new in France? Anything exciting happening over there?
Yeah, actually, I passed you a story yesterday about how the Angoulême,
Oh yeah.
the International Comic Festival, let's say film festival. It's kind of like their film festival here, like Cannes for comics.
Yeah.
Is canceled this year,
Holy crap.
and it got canceled because because they weren't making money last year, but there is a collective boycott by I think like over 230 authors and
Whoa.
artists who are basically saying that the festival has to start paying more attention to the actual artists. There's a lot of issues with women's issues and other things too. So they decided they're going to boycott it till it becomes better. So the city, it's how it works is there's the city of Angoulême, City
Right.
Hall, and then there's a company. And the company is the one who announced it, trying to blame it on the city. City came out and said, if we don't have authors, we don't have a show, and we really should start listening to the authors. So it's very interesting, sort of seeing a collected effort to make things better.
Right.
There were some issues. I think it was one of the people who were helping organize the show, a young woman, or a woman was, she accused one of the managers of drugging her and raping her.
Whoa.
So I mean, those similar issues are kind of everywhere, right? Like we also had our scandals in the American comic book industry
Oh yeah,
and stuff. So,
for sure.
And if they're being sexist, then
Right.
when the next step is you're not just going to be sexist, you're going to have race issues. And it's a bit of a boys' network, so it's kind of cool to see them collectively getting together to do that. Will they change it? We'll see. So
yeah, it's always been a boys' club, and that's always bothered me.
Me too.
It's always been that, and it's disappointing at the same time because it was the white boys' club.
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
And the white boys' club, and then if they had eventually, they let in 1 or 2 black authors or artists, and maybe a few Hispanics. If you don't speak Spanish, if you don't have, like a very, it's like they're very selective. You basically have to like check your culture at the door, and just like I always felt anyway that you could not represent anything else than American, and now it's become more like 2 extremes. You're either left or right, left with extreme ideas or right with extreme ideas. There's no middle ground,
Right.
So
It's like a pendulum.
yeah, exactly.
So, somewhere after some time, I think it will resettle to something different.
Yeah.
But it's been a white boys club for such a long time.
Forever,
I have a friend, I'm not going to out him, but he was an intern at Marvel.
Yeah.
Uh, and he was telling me one day he was interning at Marvel,
Uh-huh.
and he overheard two editors talking about in one of their comics. I can't remember which one he mentioned that they were going to have gangs set,
Mm.
and the setting was in New York City, and they were talking about Bloods and Crips.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, the
my
Crips.
friend, which I'm trying not to say his name, said
Yeah.
to me, Bloods and Crips don't exist in New York. There's a whole
Right.
bunch of other different gangs, but he just said this was just how detached from
Disconnected.
the actual reality of, the New
The-
York City they were trying to write about,
Yeah, yeah.
you
I
know.
mean, eventually the Bloods and Crips did come, but that was like way later. Like that's like late '90s, I would say. Um, and it wasn't even the same affiliation, same members. It's just people who just took on that monocle.
Right. If I'm
I'm sure the FBI had something to do with it.
always, yeah, always.
Because they were like
Uh,
little kids. Like that was like when they first came out, they were like middle school. I'm like middle schoolers. Like you're talking about like sixth grade. Like what? Like that was like the first wave of Bloods and Crips were like sixth graders.
wow. Yeah, that
Yeah,
actually the Bloods and Crips were a way of also filling in the streets after the Black Panthers were disassembled,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So, but I found it interesting that he was saying that. So when they start to sort of like, because oftentimes, even while growing up, there were always like some Hispanic character that they had, but they always got it wrong.
Right. Yeah. It's
You know, it's just like,
Puerto Rican with a Mexican accent and Mexican slang. Yeah. It's like,
right. It's just, or how people were freaking out about Miles Morales being he's he's uh he's Dominican, black and Latino,
mhm. And then they were like, and he's gay. They threw
eh,
that in there, which wasn't true.
which wasn't true. But I'm just like looking like there are black Spanish speakers all over the world.
Yes.
That isn't that crazy. Now, if you said he was African American and Dominican,
Right.
then those are two separate cultures which you're
Yeah.
bringing together. There's similarities and stuff. But I think that a lot of the people, as we're becoming more international, this white
Mhm.
boys club is going to suffer more and more because it's a very narrow view of the
Yes.
world, you know.
Absolutely.
Uh, And as much as they worry about being the minority, they've always been the minority,
Right.
right? It's always been black and brown people who have been in greater numbers than white people. So they just have to adjust to that. Or even the representations of Asian people. I loved Shang-Chi as a kid. I used
Right.
to love it because I grew up on Bruce Lee movies.
Yes. And he was essentially just Bruce Lee.
Yeah, he was just essentially Bruce Lee. But it did get me thinking about some of the potential lore from China.
Right.
But then, you get older and you're like, oh my God, this is such a horrible stereotype of Chinese culture.
Yeah.
Couldn't you have actually just gotten some Chinese writers to
Right.
help you
Yeah.
flesh that out a little better?
They did have Chinese employees there, not many, but they had, I think, one or two. And they had a few Asian guys as well. So,
Right.
they had some
Now,
Filipinos there as well during that
right.
time, the '70s, right? So I know they had, I think, that at least one Chinese guy, right? This is Marvel. You had a Korean guy. Larry Hama's Korean, right?
Japanese.
Oh,
Japanese.
Japanese. He's Japanese. So
Yeah.
you had a Japanese guy there. You had Rudy Nebrez, right? He's Filipino. You had there might have been, maybe there wasn't a Chinese guy there, but
Yeah.
they had a few guys that drew the Hulk. I forgot his name. Passed away like maybe 5 years ago. He was Filipino as well. So maybe they didn't have any Chinese
Yeah.
artists or writers, but they did have other Asians that'd be like, oh, don't do that.
Yeah.
Fu
Yeah. Yeah.
Manchu was was his father, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah. And they didn't, it was such a stereotype.
yeah, they wanted to basically renew the copyright on Fu Manchu from the '40s because he would have probably been public domain then. So they basically integrated it where he's the dad.
Yeah. And they could have, I mean, it was bad enough that they used the name Fu Manchu,
Right.
but it was the imagery that's just so fucking bad. It's
Yeah.
just like,
It's
whoa.
like Yellow Claw. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was like straight up like yellow scare or yellow, whatever they call it.
Yeah, exactly.
it's just so screwed up.
It's so it is so screwed up. It's really it's fucking ridiculous.
And in other places, they, at least thanks to Kirby, this um, we had Black Panther, you know. So it's sort of like it depends on, and
Right.
even then, there are times
Good
where I'm
job on that. He didn't put stereotypes. He didn't use black
no,
characters or anything like that in there.
no, he didn't. He definitely approached that from there. And it's interesting though because the problem with ethnicities in fiction,
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting that some people can be totally cool with black people,
Yeah.
but not totally cool with Asian people or
Right.
Native Americans, or be totally cool with Asian culture and not totally be cool with black people. It's
Yeah.
weird how that you would think it would all sort of like click into place, right? But
Right.
it doesn't.
Or like even Mexicans, because Mexicans are native Indians. They live in America.
Yeah.
They don't live in the United States of America, but they live in the Americas, right?
Mhm.
And we treat them like we call them illegal aliens, but they're natives.
Yep.
It's like
Yeah.
they all these Hispanics, native Indians, they're like, oh, they're illegal aliens. They speak Spanish.
I
That's
know.
they're mad about the Bad Bunny guy singing at the Super Bowl, and it's like, wait a second, we spoke Spanish in America well before English.
We still
Everything,
have states named after like
yeah,
Florida,
Florida, Colorado,
Colorado,
and
California,
yeah, yes.
New Mexico. It's just like,
Doesn't make sense. And they're all eating tacos there because if you, it's like
it's crazy to me, man. Just the lack of self-reflection is wild.
oh yeah, it's totally
It's
crazy.
totally wild.
Well, yeah, I mean, this right before we went on air, I was talking about I don't know any Caucasian people that aren't on drugs. It's like, but this whole war on drugs and this whole Republican viewpoint about getting the bad guy and getting the criminal, like you're the criminal, you're doing illegal drugs, you're the one on edibles and all this other stuff. That just became legal in New York like a year ago, but they've been doing it since forever,
Oh,
the 80s.
the
Oh,
show Weeds.
guys. It's like, yeah, the show Weeds. Hello, yes. And it wasn't even legal in any state when that show was out.
That's right. That's right.
You
That's
know?
right. It's pretty wild to me that we as minorities get painted with that idea that we're the drug dealers and we're the drug users and everything else.
Right.
But the reality is, I mean, it's complex. It shows it definitely much more. I mean, they are the majority in our country.
Mhm.
But I think it also shows, so for example, in Portugal,
Mhm.
they made all drugs basically legal.
Mhm.
Their approach was they came to realize we're treating this as a crime when it's a health issue.
Right.
So they started treating the addiction and they started to see the numbers of addicts going down.
Mhm.
So clearly, I think that there's a sort of a problem with depression that our country has.
Yeah, we're working too much.
Working too much. If you've ever read the book by Jane Jacobs, The Death of the American City, I think
Right.
that's the title of it. Aside from New York, we really don't have spaces where we hang out and just lounge.
Right.
So we're all kind of off in our own little castles in the suburbs.
Mhm.
And now we got these little things here.
Yes.
And now we're in our castles in our heads.
Yeah.
And we're further and further away from we're becoming more antisocial, or we become more antisocial.
Yes.
I think that causes psychological problems for us.
I mean, I remember when I was in college, they talked about the invention of the phonograph. People protested it because they said it would make society more asocial, right? Like they'd be like, oh, we're not going to go out to the concert to watch a live band. We're going to stay at home and listen to a record. This is television. And there was, and then there was a big thing against the movie theater when the silent pictures came out. People were like, well, people aren't going out to the theater to see performances. They're watching moving pictures. So,
and it's interesting you say that because currently, like Netflix just bought Warner Brothers, although it's not completely sealed. And
Hmm.
I know a lot of people are worried, oh, this is going to destroy the cinema experience. And to a great degree, the CEO of Netflix also stated that the idea of the cinema experience is antiquated.
Right. Just like Blockbuster. Like we don't have
Yeah,
to walk to a video store to get movies, which was
right,
kind of fun, but annoying because you have to return it and then get late fees. At least you got streaming. There is no late fee.
right. But on the flip side, uh, the reason that a lot of people are staying home and watching movies is because wages are low.
Mm-hmm.
The cost of everything's through the roof, especially
Plus
movie
$100 to
tickets.
go to the movies now.
How much?
It's like $100 to go to the movies now. It's like
Wow. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's
Especially
like
if you got a whole family.
just popcorn and soda. Like they have like number one, number two. A year ago, it was $16 for a large soda and a large popcorn. They threw in, oh well, now the number one's with candy because I guess the candy sales were low. So now it's like, oh, so now it's $24 for fucking popcorn and a soda with a box of candy that you didn't want, and the movie ticket is like $22 or $25 depending on what type of whether it's laser or IMAX is like $28. I remember IMAX was like $10 and that was expensive back in the day.
Yeah.
So you're spending like almost $30 a ticket for an IMAX. A regular movie, much cheaper, but you're talking about like maybe $15 for the like no special sound, no special anything. So they
Yeah.
have tiers of what's your movie experience, what's the
Right.
sound quality, the visual quality. So I mean, yeah, you bring like me, my wife, and kid, three of us.
$100.
It's $100.
Yeah. Yeah. Same thing here in France. It's expensive.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do have like they have a month where they have like it's like the film festival month, so you can go and see movies on a discount, but
Mhm.
still it's expensive.
Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of people can say what they want, but I don't think movie theaters will go
Mhm.
completely away. Just like the theater didn't really go
Right.
completely away.
They have subscriptions now too on your apps. So if you download an app, you could do $25 a month, and you can see as many movies as you want in the
Oh,
theater.
oh,
How?
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's not bad. And then there's a cheaper tier which I have, which is I think $15 a month, and you
Hmm.
can see movies. They tell you your movie's ready, and then every Tuesday you can see a movie for like it used to be $7.99, now it's like $10.99. So
Okay.
who wants to go to fucking the theater on a Tuesday?
Oh,
It's
yeah, in Canada, when I was living in Canada, we used to have cheap Tuesdays. I don't know if that was the same thing stateside at that
yeah,
time. And you could go watch a movie for like $2.
right. Yeah,
So
the
my
dollar
mother used to
when I was a
take
kid.
me to watch movies on Tuesdays,
Mhm.
you know. But yeah, I mean, exactly. Who wants to go on a Tuesday to go watch a movie?
Right, you just
Right.
got out of work, you're exhausted, you're tired. Sometimes I'd fall asleep in the theater, I was like, "Oh, I had a nap."
That was a great film, man.
Yeah, it was great. Had a great I mean, it is a good if it's a good movie, it's nice because nobody goes to movies on Tuesdays, and you end up in an empty theater, which
Mhm.
is nice. I do like watching a movie by myself in the theater. It's kinda like, just sitting
It's like
there.
being at home,
Yeah, it's like being at home with a gigantic screen, but then you could fall
right?
asleep too. It's like
Well, and here's the other thing: the screens have gotten bigger,
yeah, the screen's gotten bigger, yeah.
gotten bigger. So you might have a mini movie experience at home.
That's right. I mean, they just
You
had
know,
85-inch screen used to be like 3 grand, and now
I know.
Walmart had them for like 700.
Hmm.
And so yeah, I mean, you scared the shit out of the world, the whole planet with COVID, and half of the stuff that they spread was bullshit,
Yep.
misinformation from the top
Yep.
intentionally. Then they're wondering why people don't want to go out. I mean, there's people, students and educators that I know that still wear a mask every day, never took them off.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because when it first happened, they said that masks wouldn't do anything.
Right.
You remember that?
Yes.
And then I think some people just hung on to that. Other people hung on to the masks. And
Yeah.
what's intriguing about the whole thing is that right from the get-go, I don't think they knew what to do.
Yeah.
Like everybody was so disorganized, it was
Yeah.
sad,
Yeah.
you know.
It's like go left, go right, don't move. Don't go left. Oh, God. Stay at home.
Stay at home. Don't stay at home. Go do this. Go do
Yeah.
that. You got to have a certificate for your COVID vaccines.
They didn't know what to do because they were making so much money. It went to their heads.
Yeah.
It's like,
And I really think they took advantage of the situation
oh, big time.
because they sunk a lot of businesses
Yes.
and then they went up and bought up a lot of that property,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know.
People moved out of cities, you know, and they jacked up the rents when they opened everything back up. I don't know about you in France, but in the United States, we had a COVID tax. So not only did you have to pay state tax and federal tax on your meal, well, not your meal, but state tax on the meal, you had city tax and a COVID tax.
No COVID tax here. No.
It's like, wait a minute, you
No.
shut everything down and now I'm paying for it, kind of like this tariff. So it's like, oh, so now there's a COVID tax for if you want to eat out in the city. And that was like for 2 years they had that.
That's crazy.
Like, I'm not gonna eat out because why my fucking taxes are almost as much as the meal.
That's crazy.
You know?
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean it's and where does that money go to?
Right. Somebody's
That's
pocket. It's not going
somebody's
back
pocket.
to
Yeah.
it's not going to the benefit of anyone other than the individual. It's not going to the workers.
No, 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 that's for sure.
You know?
You
Yeah.
know, but then they want people to spend. You want people to spend, you're gonna have to cut one way or the other. Either
Right.
you raise wages or you lower your profit margin so people can buy more.
Yeah, I think Americans have always been kind of retarded, because they basically busted unions, accepted unions, and they're like, "Oh, we have the answer to the union problem." Like, why is protection a problem? Worker protection, healthcare is a problem to the wealthy. Like they don't want us to do too well, so we'll just give the work to the Chinese, and the Chinese were smart. Like, hey, we got all this work, and hey, we'll give it to the Vietnamese, we'll give it to the Filipinos, we'll give it to the and charge them even less. And then we're like, why do they become so rich and powerful? It's like,
Well, and then they invested in their education, their
yes,
infrastructure,
yes, we don't.
technology.
Yeah,
They turned around and did their thing.
they became the
You know?
United States.
Well, without the actual
Without the democracy.
well, there is a very interesting article I sent you last week as
Mhm.
to how their political system works.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very, very fascinating. It's probably one of the most decentralized countries on the planet
Hmm.
because how it works is it's at a local level. You can't make it to be president
Right,
or part of the head of the Communist Party unless you start at a local level.
right, right.
So, and yeah, voting happens at the local level. So I think there's a lot of things we don't know about China, and I
Oh,
think
yeah.
there's
There's a
a
lot of
lot of
misinformation
misconceptions.
out
What's that?
A lot of misinformation out there.
Yeah, a lot of misinformation out there.
Intentional misinformation.
Well, we need a new Russia, new Soviet Union, right, to have a Cold War with.
Right.
The only thing is it never works out when you go to war with your factory.
Right, exactly. Which is like that's the gaslit girlfriend. That's what China is. It's like
Well,
the girlfriend you just keep. Yeah, you take care of her, you give her money, and then you're like, yeah, I don't like the way you treat me.
well, there
It's
is a long history that's not talked about
hmm
because China was partially colonized.
hmm
It was colonized by the British, the French, the Portuguese, Spanish kind of tried. They kind of stopped at the Philippines, trying to get in there,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
a lot of the wealthy in our country, and New York is a perfect reflection of this.
hmm
People like the families like the Astors and the Delanos made their money off the opium trade,
yeah,
and that opium trade was basically getting Chinese people hocked up on drugs.
right,
So here we are accusing them
right,
of fentanyl and it's all coming in.
right.
That's sort of projection on our part.
Right. Who started it? You had the
Who
whole
started it?
British-Chinese War, right? The Opium Wars. I mean,
hmm
and then at the end of it, they forced people to take opium, right? It's like
Well, China literally said to us, to the West, we need nothing from you. We make everything.
right.
And the British had to figure out a way to get in there, and they literally pried it open with opium. They were growing in places like India and Afghanistan, and then
Hmm.
flooding the place in with it. And
Right.
that's what weakened China. Now, the
Right.
Chinese will tell you
And that's what
they,
Bin Laden and Al Qaeda was opium as well. It's like
yeah,
it's like the poppies, right?
yeah. And it's interesting because around that time when we went in, Baltimore, a port city, what went through the roof was the byproduct of those poppy seeds,
Right.
right? So all of a sudden we have an explosion, cops cracking down, and we end up with the whole BLM movement starting. So it has all these repercussions,
Yeah.
but yeah, they haven't forgotten. They say all the time,
Right.
we will never forget the century of humiliation.
Hmm.
So there's a long history there. When I was a teenager, I got to read the book Taipan. I recommend that to anyone if you want to understand like the a historical fiction version of that history that
Hmm.
leads up to the Opium Wars. It's by the same author who wrote Shogun, James Clavell.
Right. Right.
So
Googling it now.
there was a mini series for a time because he had gotten Shogun, and all of a sudden they made Taipan.
Hmm.
But it was really eye opening. I never looked at the shit that we did. I mean, I never really looked at it in a good light. But I'm like, yeah, I could see why they don't like us. We
Yeah.
basically hocked them up with drugs, screwed them over, took over the place. Then we funded the Japanese and built up Japan.
James Clav, you said?
Clavel,
Clave? Oh,
yeah, it's a
found
British
it.
guy. It's yeah, he wrote the book Shogun,
Oh, nice.
which was a series. Um, First with what was it, Richard Chamberlain,
Mm.
and then later on, it's just recently got a new version. I think it was through HBO. New version's actually pretty decent. It's
Mm.
actually, I think, less hokey.
Just bought it. Just bought the
Great
hard
book. Great book. Yeah.
copy.
So, yeah, they have a whole history. And so, from their perspective, they kind of keep us at our arm's length. But I mean, we funded Japan to the point that Japan killed 28 million people during World War II in
Hmm.
China. I mean, you're talking about Japanese soldiers bayoneting babies and crap,
Jeez.
you know. And many of the things that the Nazis did, the Japanese army did and some, and they never got even close to the same hand slapping that the Nazis did.
Right.
So, and mind you, I love Japanese culture, but that part of the history is always like, because one of the ways that they got Japan to go along with their bullshit was saying, the Europeans are coming over here, taking over Asia, and we're the only ones powerful enough to keep the Europeans out. So let's go and become colonizers ourselves.
Right.
So, you know,
Right. That's-
yeah,
we're so great. We're so greater than Britain, right? Well, we're going to separate ourselves from Britain, and it almost become like competition. We can do it better, and then no, we're actually really bad at it.
no,
It's
or maybe we were really good at it. It's a matter of perspective.
yeah,
I
and
mean, the British weren't all that great.
yeah, I know. I mean,
They
we
were,
slavery. You think about all
yeah,
these wars. America's never not been in a war. It's like
17 years at
you know,
peace.
that's that's very little in the 250 years.
17 years.
I mean, now we have. I don't know if you heard. I mean, I spent the night deleting messages because Zuckerberg,
Hmm.
Zucky boy has hired 150 former IDF soldiers on Instagram platforms, and the guy who bought TikTok also is there. So now they're monitoring our social media. So
Hmm.
no thanks.
But,
I think I'm going
but
to start investing in my website again. It's like
right. I think going back to the way things were with message boards
yes.
and websites is a very good thing. I think we got too much into a closed gardens.
Hmm.
it's good to sort of touch base with family and stuff and friends, but
But
I
they,
think I hope that we go back to doing what you're talking about, like websites and stuff. I think that's more important.
yeah, I think so.
Um,
Yeah, they never went away, but it's just like it's like the social media really eliminated the need for a website. But I've always kept mine. I've had my website
mhm.
for 25 years. You know.
Yeah, we've always kept ours, Susie and I.
Mhm.
We've kept ours all this time.
Mhm.
Keep in mind that the Google searches and the search engines also screwed over the websites.
Oh yes, yes, exactly.
So
Yeah,
it's
because it's
screwed.
about how much you're paying them, right? You know.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah, and it's
if you're not paying for the algorithm, which is ridiculous, this is a technology that they didn't even invent, but they monitor. Kind of like
well,
on electricity.
and here's the crazy thing. Here we are talking about other countries being dictatorial, and
Mhm.
we're worried that someone's going to be going through our messages.
Right.
I mean, this is some shit that my mother would tell me about fascist Spain,
Right.
you know.
This is like what
Uh,
Snowden warned us against many, many years ago.
well, we also funded a lot of those regimes too, so it's kind of
Hmm.
like, hey, remember me? You kicked me out that way. You funded. I'm back home,
We
right?
took the shot out, with Iran and Afghanistan. We radicalized the Islamist movement
Hmm.
just so that they can go to war with Russia.
Hmm.
It's like
We
I
also fucked over our allies in
fucked over
Italy.
our allies. Like Ho Chi Minh was an ally. They fucked him
Hmm.
over.
Or fucked over the Italians after they kicked out the fascists,
That's
and
right.
they're looking like they were going to start.
Go after the
Um,
mob after they helped us with the waterfronts in World War II.
mhm. Oh yeah, yeah. It's but I think that part of the history doesn't fit into the mythos of America.
Right.
So it sounds
Backstabbing.
like conspiracy theory when you bring up that actual, real gritty history.
Yeah. And burning Indians, locking them in, and burning them to death.
Infected blankets and crap too.
Blankets. Oh, teach us how to farm. We're starving. Teach them how to farm, and then they kill you. I was
Yeah,
like,
it. I have to say one of the worst aspects of cultural traits of Europeans throughout history has been its two-faced nature.
yeah.
I mean, it's even expressed with the idea of Christianity.
Hmm.
Oh, we're all about peace, but you're showing up with cannons
Right.
and guns and swords and shit.
Guns, germs, and steel. Right.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, I don't know if this is a peaceful religion. In that case, yeah,
Right.
I've gotten some heat in the past for saying this, but in that case, I'll give the Japanese one point in which they were clever, and that was when the Spanish and Portuguese made it out east,
Mm.
and they started to bring Christianity to Japan. Uh, the daimyo who was in charge realized, wait a second, I'm starting to get all these fucking rebellions in my country since these assholes showed up.
Right.
And then he said, none of you guys are allowed here.
Yeah.
If you catch any European landing on the mainland, we're going to crucify you and you're
Right.
done. Granted, he also went off and massacred a lot of Japanese people who were Christian and they had to hide their Christianity.
Right.
But in some of those cases, I would say it was the lords who were Christian who
Right.
were very stupid. Because
Right.
there's one particular lord who openly went with the Portuguese and Spanish.
Right.
The daimyo was kept his finger on the pulse and found this out. And
Right.
in Japanese culture, particularly back then, you
Right.
just didn't doom the Lord, you doomed all the people under them.
Right.
So I see that more as a flaw of him, but I think that's why we also have the Japan that we have today because they managed to keep them the fuck out,
Right. Exactly.
you know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all for freedom of religion, but when religion gets political, I have an issue with it.
Well,
Like too much power.
it's religion, um, this is something I
Inquisition. It's like,
well, yeah, I can tell you right now, because there's a lot of talk of fascism and everything else. And in the English-speaking world, it seems kind of quaint to think
right.
of religion as being a bad thing.
Hmm.
But in the Spanish-speaking world, particularly in Spain,
Hmm.
the division between left and right
Hmm.
you can tell by how a right winger feels about the Reconquest, which was basically the taking the land and beating out the Moors,
Right.
imperial Spain and colonization. If they're in favor of it, they're far right. Of course, with it comes being heavily religious because that's what pushed the empire. It was an empire of religion,
Right.
right? And then if you're on the left, you reject all that shit. You're like, it was horrible what we did to the rest of the world. This is we shouldn't have done this, right?
Right.
Um,
Right.
and so yeah, I'm with you. The problem is that Christianity, as we know it, at least from Western Europe, even to an extent Eastern Europe, has been a colonizing force. It has not been a religion. It's been
Right.
political,
Right.
you know,
Yeah. From its inception. Right.
from its inception. And it's hard to explain that to people. It's like, well, you got the religion, the precepts aren't bad. You know, it's a wonderful thing, treat your neighbors great and everything else. But then you also have the other problem that these fuckers took it, like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre guy who carved up Jesus, wore his skin as a mask, and is
Right.
running around pretending to be Jesus. No, he's a
Right.
serial killer.
Wolf in sheep's clothing, right?
Exactly. Wolves in sheep's clothing. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
so yeah, you know. So I'm with you. To me, it's like believe whatever you want to believe in dwarves. That's cool.
Right.
But once you start pushing that shit on me because I don't believe in dwarves, now we're gonna have problems,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Talking about comic books, I wanted to mention this book real quick. It's not exclusively war books, but it's let's say not many superheroes. Let's check out this book. This is Stuntsman, but it's also the actual cover says Simon and Kirby. So I guess they changed Simon and Kirby Productions, right? So,
Mhm.
so this book talked a lot about different things. You have Captain America, you have the original Golden Age vision that Stan Lee stole and claimed that he created it. You know, Simon and Kirby. You got the original Fly in here and the original Spider Man, who was a villain. You got a bunch of cool stuff in here, but since we're about war comics, you know, they had boys comics, and the boys comics, you know, they're Sandman, but the boys comics always, you know, were very patriotic, you know, and you have these war stories, which are really good. I mean, really good stories. You have His Highness Duke of Broadway. You have all these little short stories that Kirby did, and they're very cinematic. And I just thought that you know, Booby Trap, these little short vignette stories that they had in different comics in the Golden Age that were pretty cool. This is iconic cover Foxhole. I mean, I think Kirby really took away the Hollywoodness of. He had a Hollywood flair to his stories, but he also had the reality of war in his comics too. You know.
Well, it was that generation.
Yeah.
Some of the best, and I would say the thing that sets up most of pop culture today, was that generation. So you have Jack Kirby,
Yeah.
Sterling,
Exactly.
and all the writers that came out of that. The creepy comics and stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
They were very intense because they were just basically dealing out all their demons.
Yes.
On paper. So
yes.
Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it.
Oh yeah, like and then we had the whole, you know, clamping down on them saying comics are evil.
Right.
They're creating delinquents.
Which they did.
You know, and then the same guy,
Yeah. In retrospect, he was right.
But Wordham, this is the killer. Wordham said, "Oh, but television will be a much better medium."
Yeah. So who's paying him? Who's lacing his pocket? Right?
Well, in the end, he later on regretted what he said about comics.
Mm-hmm.
But I grew up with someone who, my mom was very much into literature and everything else, but her perspective was always, wherever there's comics in a house, there'll eventually be books.
Yes, exactly.
That's how it goes.
And books, if you're really going to attack comics like that, a visual medium, what about regular books that put the visual in your head. So everyone has a different Frankenstein in their mind, right? Everyone has a different Dracula in their mind because it all comes down to your imagination.
Right. I think, and this is just my little theory. I think a lot of it comes from the Protestant world.
Hmm.
And what do I say that? The rejection of Catholicism and all the ideas of icons and the Stations of the Cross that Catholicism has, because it
Hmm.
was the only way that most people even knew about Jesus. They never could read,
Right,
right?
right.
Which is hilarious when I hear these people like Nikki Fuentes talking about, oh, we had writing and we could read as
Mm.
compared to African cultures. Like, dude, we
No,
had reading and writing in Europe, but let me tell you something.
right,
It was like 1% of the fucking population who could
right,
read and write,
right.
right? So in Catholic countries, it's not seen as a big deal. So I don't know if there's a divide there. And because, religion has a way of sort of shaping things, even if you're not religious, it
Right.
affects culture.
And Fuentes is probably not reading himself, you know? It's like
Oh, he's an idiot.
a
He's,
lot of
well,
Christians that I know that don't read at all, like nothing. Like,
yeah, that's crazy.
they have the ability to read, but they don't read. I don't see them with books in their hands or, they're watching sports. It's like,
And you're not being curious, and you're not learning about
right.
the world. To let you know, for example, in Franco's Spain, you couldn't have Superman comics.
Mm,
His thing was that you couldn't have a being that was more powerful than Jesus.
mm.
So here's the thing. I grew up with a lot of Spanish comics. They're always about gags and stuff. So I don't know if you can pick these up, but if you're anyone who's interested, maybe you can find it online or something. Super Lopez, right? Which
Ah,
is always a big gag. Super Lopez. Actually, there was a movie that came out called Super Lopez. Uh,
really?
Spanish really excel at humor. They're fucking they just tear everything up, but in a fun way. So you
Right.
can kind of see the panels and stuff, right? And I love that there's Superman. He's not Superman. He's Super Lopez, right?
Right.
He's got a mustache and stuff. Um, Get to see some of the art. So I guess in a sense, in the United States, this would be considered indie, right? So this is
Right.
the kind of
Right.
stuff I grew up with. There's also some other comics. They didn't call them comics, which is interesting.
Right.
They had a word for it called tebeos.
The Vejos.
Tebeos could be, when you listen to it, it sounds more like I see.
Right. Right.
But a lot of the things were often, the tropes were, say, for example, there's one I really love, Mortadelo y Filemon,
Right.
in which they're two agents, sort of like a James Bond working for, instead of like the CIA, it's like TIA,
Right.
TIA, which means aunt in Spanish, which is fucking
Right.
hilarious. And usually what happens is they're given this mission, they fuck up, somehow they mess over the boss. He ends up getting an anvil or something on his head. And then at the end, he's hunting them down to sort of just because they just screwed him over somehow, and he's hunting them down and want to kill them. It's
Right.
usually how these stories turn out. So,
It's trying to
but
share the screen so we could see it, but it's not. It's not showing it for some reason. The
I'm not
super.
showing it.
I saw the movie.
Oh, you saw the movie? That was
The movie
hilarious.
poster. I was just like, oh, let me share this.
Oh, the movie's hilarious because there's one scene that just had me laughing because he's going around doing the stuff, but in his, I guess you could say in his alter ego, they're watching someone being rescued
Can you see it now?
by Super Lopez,
Yeah.
and I guess his Lois Lane
Right.
says, "A superhero in Spain? Come on!" And it's just typically very Spanish. They have a very uh, um, just a way of just cutting themselves up and just cutting everything up.
That's too
Uh,
funny.
yeah, it's not a culture of heroes. Let's put it this way: anti-heroes, yes; heroes, no.
Right.
There's nothing that's sacred.
I think I just typed it in here. Let me see if we can find Super Lopez here. That's hilarious.
Oh man, this just so that's kind of the stuff I grew up with.
Right.
Although
Right.
I also have from time to time I do those crazy cartoons that aren't so superhero-ish.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
always loved making fun of superheroes. A world without superheroes is really it's a serious story, but when you really look at it, the whole allegory of it is making fun of superheroes.
the
Like the
critique.
ridiculousness. It's a critique on the ridiculousness of them.
Yeah.
It's I've always found the funny in it. It's like this is kind of ridiculous, but at the same time, I never liked anything campy, like super campy. I like
Right.
some campy stuff, but it depends. It has to be the right kind of camp. You know, like if you have a character like Super Lopez that is camp,
Full on camp.
that's
Yeah.
full on camp. That's what he was designed for. But if
Right.
you put Deadpool and Wolverine in a movie and make it campy, I can't stand that because that's not what those characters were designed for.
Right. 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 I
maybe,
see.
I'm, maybe I'm a little uptight about that. Or like Batman, like when Val Kilmer and George Clooney played Batman. It was so campy, it drove me insane. I couldn't stand it. I was like, this is not what Batman's about. That was Adam West's Batman because that's what the comics were then. That's not what Batman is now.
Right. Right.
You know.
And no one can out camp Adam West.
Right. The first Deadpool movie was good. The second, third, and whatever else came out after, like no, just like I can't say. Or like Peacemaker. Everyone loves this Peacemaker TV show. I thought it was pure trash because if you read a Peacemaker comic book, it's a straight comic. It's not. It was never intended for that.
I see. So you're basically going from the source material if it captures the source material.
Right. If it captures the intention of the author, because I mean, how many people are making William Shakespeare campy, and it's like Shakespeare did humor, but he didn't. But it's like you're not going to take Macbeth and make it into a National Lampoon.
You know,
I know, but there is humor in Shakespeare. You have
that might be a
tragedy.
project for someone out there. You know,
You're not gonna take Romeo and Juliet and make it into like a National Lampoon thing with Chevy Chase and
that might be
you
a
know,
selling point.
maybe.
I mean, you get to kind of crack up that these two kids end up killing each other because
Yeah,
their two families hate each other's guts, as opposed to just picking up and leaving together,
right.
saying "fuck you both." You know,
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's hypocritical. I do love. I've done humor comics myself. I did a God the Second Coming was my first book was a humor comic. Instead of doing the serious comic book, I was like, I'll do the funny one first. So I do love humor.
hmm
But I guess it depends. I think if it's done right. See,
right?
I think Hollywood, everyone thinks they have the ability to be funny, and no,
You
I don't
know,
think so. Not every director is a funny director.
when was the last? When was the last really laugh out loud movie you saw?
Oh my god, in the theater,
Just
I,
that came out recently. I can't think of one.
I can't think of one. Oh, I would say Get Hard, which is years ago. That made me laugh. I was in tears in the theater, and I remember Ben Stiller's Something About Mary. Those are the two movies that
I was
made
going to say Something About Mary was the last time I was literally
like
falling out of my chair laughing.
yeah, literally Something About Mary. I would think is Ben Stiller was the funniest theatrically in the theater where the audience is roaring and
The
dying.
beans.
Yes. So yeah, the beans. Yes.
How did you
I
get?
remember people were like laughing like everyone knew each other, and people were looking at each other like everyone knew each other.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I saw that picture with a friend of mine from college. I remember her name was Vicky. We went to see it at the Whitestone Cinema, which no longer exists. It's now like an Amazon plant or something, or a parking.
Oh wow.
They turned the multiplex and they tore it down and built this gigantic parking lot.
Oh wow.
So, but we were like, I remember she laughed so hard that literally snots flew out of her nose.
It was. I think I watched that movie twice in the movie theater. I thought it was hilarious.
Oh yeah, it was a great film.
The last movie I saw that made me chuckle was The Other Guys.
The Other Guys, I haven't seen.
It was with Mark Wahlberg, Will Ferrell, The Rock, and Samuel Jackson are in it. And instead of being like the main cops, they're
Right.
the other guys.
Oh,
And it was, to me, it was funny. It was
yeah,
funny in a not in a Something About Mary. Oh my God, I got to catch my breath.
right.
But I really don't think we've had like we really haven't had
Because
like
not
no
everyone's super funny. Yeah.
yeah, no Blazing Saddles, no Spaceballs.
Yeah, exactly. Blazing Saddles. Those are great. I remember seeing Spaceballs in the theater. That was hilarious too. Yeah.
Oh, that movie was classic. There's a Spaceballs 2 coming out next year.
Is that right? Why did
Yep.
they wait so long? With
Yeah.
Rick Moranis? He's
With
coming.
Rick, he's coming out of retirement, man. Got
Wow,
the dark helmet.
that's cool.
And
I
what's wild about it is
love it.
that Mel Brooks, who's in his freaking 90s,
Yeah. He's
is
up.
directing it. I
That's
just hope he calls it The Search for More Money.
I hope he puts Larry David as a co-director.
Yeah, yeah,
That would be hilarious.
yeah.
Oh my god. I love, it's just like I grew up watching the Three Stooges and Charlie Chaplin and Red Buttons and Buster Keaton's. I love comedy. I love all that stuff. When I was a
Marx
kid,
Brothers.
the Marx Brothers. Oh my god, yeah. I mean, I love all that stuff. And it's just like, but you look at what they consider comedy now, and it's like, no, it's not.
And sometimes it's kind of like
Yeah,
more melancholy.
right.
You're
It's
like,
just
this wasn't funny. This was, it was
right,
a good movie, but it was kind of sad.
right,
Not that there's
right.
anything wrong with that.
It's like we went from that to like guys like Louis C.K. who talk about like thinking pedophilia is funny and like kicking
Yeah,
children, kicking babies is funny. It's like, what? What's wrong with this guy? Like, why is this funny? Why does
yeah,
this guy fill up stadiums? He sounds demented and distorted in the head.
yeah.
It's like,
No, I agree. I agree. That's messed up.
it's like, yeah. I mean, people were booing him when we saw him in New York, and he was like, "These are the jokes, folks." It's like he's in a Madison Square Garden with maybe 30,000, 50,000 people, sold out. People
Yeah.
booed him. He was getting booed because he just would not. Nobody likes pedophilia. That's not funny.
No, no.
You know,
And
you get
did
away
he
with
get
maybe one
canceled?
joke, but not 20 minutes.
Didn't he get canceled?
This is after he got canceled. He came back, and that's what he opened with. Like,
I mean, I have to say, I went to a Catholic high school, public school, and elementary school and high school. So the occasional joke, a priest joke, an
yeah,
altar boy joke
oh yeah,
is kind of mandatory, but it's not
not for a 20-minute set.
not for 20 minutes. Not for
One,
20 minutes.
we'll give you one.
And it's usually more of a shot at the priest,
Right,
than the
right,
poor victim.
right. It's they're victim jokes. You'd put the nail on the head.
Yeah,
He likes
I
victim jokes.
likes to punch down.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think that's a problem. I think the thing is that Hollywood has invested so much in superheroes
Yeah,
that every piece of genre that we ever had
right.
has a tinge of superhero added to it.
Yes, yes.
Because it's like, well, it'll sell movie tickets.
Right. Yeah, and then movies used to be about whether it was good or not. I never remember Sickle and Ebert saying, "Well, this movie only made this much money." Nobody gives a.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's like, is the movie good? Was it written good? It's like movies used to be about not how much they made in the theater. It's like,
Mhm.
and I think they do that for tax purposes. I think they made that the conversation so that they could keep getting our tax dollars when they bomb. It's like, why don't you just write a good movie
Well,
and talk about the merits of whether the story was good or not?
I went to film. I did film in university,
Mhm.
so business of film class. I think I might have said this in previous podcasts, but I'll say it again.
Mhm. Might be
So
one
I
of
think I might have
these
said
events.
last time how they just literally go to the banks because the studios, they might have money, but they don't have money like banks do, right?
Right.
They're like, yeah, we want to fund this. So the banks look at the scripts. They go, oh fuck yeah, okay, well we're gonna have a theme. Theme this summer is gonna be natural disasters. Of course, now you got to throw a cape on the asteroid, make it a superhero movie right now.
Right. Okay, Bob.
And they figure, okay, so if 10 of these films that we have, if 6 of them fucking tank, but 4 of them do great, we've
Right.
made our money back on the other 6.
Right. Right.
So it's about bean counting.
Mhm.
Now, there's 2 things that are usually at war: the bean counting and the art.
Right.
Artists don't understand the bean counters. The bean counters don't give a shit about the artists,
Right. Right.
right? So
Right.
for us, the audience, we're the third party. we're just looking at going, what the fuck are these people giving to us? But
Right.
the artists have to go to the bean counters to go, hey man, I got this great idea. Yeah, well, you see
Exactly.
this, you're gonna cut this out, you're gonna cut that out. By the way, my nephew's a really good actor. You got to put him in it, right?
Right.
A- And you're dealing with
Right.
chaos.
Right.
So it can look like that there's a master plan,
Right.
but really they're rigging the market
Yes.
because it's all about aversion to risk. This is
Right.
why we don't get new properties and new IPs out
Right.
on screens because they're like, fuck, if this doesn't have a fan following, it's
Right.
gonna tank,
Right.
right?
And Superman can't be super because he can't be toxic masculinity. He's got to get his
Well,
ass
and
kicked throughout
then
the whole movie.
and then
And just
you
cry.
then they start going, well, okay, we gotta switch it up this time because they also want to extend the IP, like the IP for Superman. All these, they're going to be public domain.
Right.
So they need to create a new version of the character so they can copyright that version of it.
Yes. Yes.
So that way they extend it for another 75 or 100 years.
It ain't gonna make it.
No,
You know. I
but
love that
it's
new. I love that new Mr. Terrific movie. Oh, I mean Superman. I was like, which I spoke to the guy who created Mr. Terrific. He didn't get a fucking dime for that movie
of course,
because
of
well,
course.
it's a pre-existing Golden Age character. No, but the Golden Age
Yeah.
character looked like a Christmas tree and was white,
Yeah.
and wasn't as interesting. But he didn't get a dime.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I just saw in passing someone had a thing about the person who wrote the Miles Morales comics.
Yeah,
She had I don't know her name, so forgive me.
he was an artist.
Uh,
Yeah,
she didn't see one dime from the adaptation
right,
from her comics to film. I mean, like that's Marvel just being Marvel, first of all.
right.
Secondly, people Return of the Jedi still hasn't made a profit. So you throw in
That's impossible.
yeah, it's all Hollywood accounting though. So
Yeah,
think of the producers times 10, right? And they just figure out a way to scam it. My worry is they've gotten us to
yeah,
think like them,
right,
the average viewer. So
right,
we're like, oh, that movie only made 100 million. Like, and
right.
there's tons of movies that bombed. Casablanca, which is, I think, a fun film, a good
Citizen
film.
Kane.
What's that?
Citizen Kane did terrible.
Citizen Kane bombed.
Classic film.
Blade Runner bombed.
Yeah,
There's a lot of things that we consider just classic cinema that just
yeah. Gone with
tanked.
the Wind didn't do well. A lot of these movies didn't do well.
Yeah, so
Classic,
it's they're classics.
and they shouldn't be dependent on the sales. You know, it's like, come on now. It's
Highlander
Highlander.
totally bombed
Yeah,
at
and
the
that's a great
box
film too.
office. It only got a fan following. Well, one because of Europe
Right,
and Asia, particularly Japan, and then because of VHS.
right. Yeah,
Um,
it saw its second life. A lot of movies see their second life on the streaming platform. Well, not streaming, videotapes, rentals back then, DVD purchases, VHS purchases. I remember VHS tape when they first came out. If you wanted a VHS tape, it was like $86. It's like what?
oh yeah, yeah.
I remember Top Gun being one of the first ones that came out. And for whatever reason, Spielberg was against ET coming out for like 20 years, right? Didn't.
Yeah. And then he changed the guns to walkie-talkies.
Yeah, yeah, it made no sense. Like, what the fuck?
You know, because the FBI wouldn't want to just shoot some kids.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
You know, and the thing is with as much as people are complaining about the Warner Brothers Netflix, and I understand because we don't want media consolidation. I mean, we went from like 30 companies to 6 to now what, possibly 3, which
Yeah.
is terrible. The one thing I do appreciate about Netflix
Right.
as a streaming service
Yeah.
is the ability to watch shit from other places, like Korean films, Spanish films, French films. You can watch shit that back in the 90s you had to hear from a friend.
Right.
Yeah, did you check out this guy? He's called John Woo. Then you had to hunt the fucking videotape down,
Right.
right? And then once we got to DVDs, the suckers are region locked.
Yes, exactly. That's the thing. I think Laserdisc was easier. They didn't have a lot of those locks and stuff. So
Mhm.
I thought that was and I think that is the real reason why they got rid of Laserdisc because you could bootleg and make high-end VHS tapes with that.
Right.
Because
But
my
people are
first
still
John Woo movie
bootlegging.
was a Laserdisc, the Killer, which I have. It was a Criterion collection and all that stuff. But a lot of these, yeah, you're right. A lot of the Asian movies, you know how I got around that? I went to Chinatown and got a region-free machine, and then I could watch. I got a box full of DVDs that you could only watch in a certain region, you know.
Yeah.
But the
And that's
last
just the
Blu-ray player that I bought, which I didn't even realize until like 2 years ago, I came across this movie and I was like, oh, it's not going to play. It's a region thing. And it actually played. So it actually
wow.
played a region, an outside region movie, like Betty Blue and all those other French movies like Red and Blue and White. I had
Yep.
to I had to have a separate machine to watch international films.
I'm gonna at some point gonna have to invest on a DVD player that's region free because since I moved here, I have most of my films digital. But
Mhm.
since I moved here, all my DVDs are region coded to the US.
Really? So they still have the region code thing up?
Oh
Or
yeah, it still has the region code shit, and on
that's
your laptops too.
on
I don't know
the
if you
laptop
noticed this.
too. Yeah.
It gives you three times that you can change your
Yes.
laptop
Yes.
region code.
They still do that? That's hilarious.
So I'm like, and no, I get the whole having a hard copy,
Yeah.
but let's also be realistic. Just because you have a hard copy,
Yeah.
you're still relying that that machine will still, one, work, two, exist,
Right.
three, even if you've got it,
Yeah.
is it region locked?
Yeah.
So they've always had controls on our shit,
Always. Yeah.
you know.
I have a bunch of laser discs, but I don't have a player because the player died. It got to the point where I had to open it up and spin the disc manually to jumpstart it.
Like the Flintstones?
Yeah, so it's like give it like a little running start, kind of like you put the car in neutral and you start pushing it, and then you jump.
Oh, that's
Right.
crazy. That's crazy.
And then it became too tiresome to carry around, so I just chucked it. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, that machine was like a 50-pound machine. It was like that was no fucking joke.
Yeah, that's no joke.
It was
So,
a brick.
so I think a lot of us romanticize the past
Right.
and have to realize there's a lot of shit. Now, who the real winners are with all this media consolidation, given the internet?
Yeah.
The pirates.
Yes.
Because
Exactly.
let's face it, this shit's gonna get pirated even more than before.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And you
Especially
know
with
what?
the
I can't
streamers.
really feel too bad for Hollywood
No, not
because
at all.
Hollywood started on piracy.
Exactly.
Edison literally ripped off Georges Méliès.
Hmm.
Take the prince from here from France, take
Right.
it to the States.
Right.
Méliès never saw a dime from any of the movies that
Right.
were taken from here.
Right.
Eh, So,
And even Lottie Reiniger, she created the multiplane camera, and Disney stole it and patented it because he thought she probably died in World War II, but she was actually being held captive by the Nazis and doing animation for the Nazis under force because her husband was in the camps. So it's like Disney is freaking stole her freaking multiplane camera, and they credit Snow White for being the first multiplane film, but it wasn't. It was what was it? Lottie Reiniger's movie about the magic lamp. It's like
right.
which was like Silhouette. It's like
Which is kind of funny, and I know I'm going to the film thing, and I love the film thing.
mhm.
I'm not a big fan of Tarantino though, as a person.
Neither. I heckled him when I met him. I
Oh,
should.
did you? Good for you. Oh, I love you that much more, man.
Yeah, I heckled the shit out of him. We were watching Blow. I just heckled him throughout the whole theater, throughout the whole
Uh,
film.
good for you. Good for you. Did you hear what he said?
That
So
was
he comes out and
pre-internet.
says, Hunger Games is a ripoff of Battle Royale.
Mhm.
Now, if you know, I mean, one, the Gladiator fucking games.
Yeah,
This isn't anything new, for one.
yeah,
Two, there's an Italian film from 1965
right,
called The 10th Victim,
right,
in which you had a very stylish sort of a
mm,
murder game,
right.
which was based on, and I forget the name of the gentleman who wrote the story, an American,
Mhm.
by the same, who wrote the story in 1953 called The 10th Victim.
Right,
So Battle Royale was not the first one to do it.
right,
The
right,
idea of games,
right,
I mean, go back to ancient Rome.
right.
But here he is talking about someone else ripping something. when he is the master at remixing shit.
Yes, exactly. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Wasn't Reservoir Dogs a fucking Hong Kong movie?
Yeah. Oh, there's tons of stuff.
Tons of stuff. Almost everything he stole was,
Shot for shot. If you've ever seen, there's a
yeah,
movie called Lady Snowblood. I think sometimes it's called Sex and Fury.
yeah.
And you know when the bride is coming down in Kill Bill,
Right.
you can see shot for shot, like how it cuts to her feet, her walking down with the samurai sword, the funky music and everything. I mean, changed up the music and stuff, but it's like, dude, keep your mouth shut.
Right. It's a
Then he
Cuban
would,
career on just ripping off stuff. And that's my problem too with the Batman movie that with Heath Ledger. People are like, oh, it's so great, it's so great. Shot for shot, frame from frame to frame. It's fucking The Crow, like like that whole intro to the
oh
Joker.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, but we're gonna have to cut this a little short because I actually have to leave.
I gotta go see Jack.
We're gonna go see Jack Kirby downtown because they're gonna close in a few hours. It's gonna take me about 2 hours almost to get down there.
All right.
But next Sunday,
Next Same bad time,
is
same
it
bad
episode
channel.
12? Hey, episode 12. Who knew?
We didn't Kirkify it. We didn't talk about the swamp and the draining of swamps and
yes.
Bubba and
Episode 13, Lucky 13, Charlie Kirk, and
Charlie
all the
Kirk.
conspiracy craziness that's go with it,
Okay.
including the whole 8-month pregnancy.
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle birth.
She's like ISIS. She went and got impregnated by her dead husband.
I didn't even play any of my clips today, but that's okay. Well, next week we're doing it.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. And if you haven't seen the Jack Kirby Museum, if you're in New York, check it out. Today's the last day. And I'll probably do some Facebook Live stuff from there. All right, man. You have a good night.
You too, man. You take care. Good
Bye.
talking to you again. See you next week.
Yeah, let's
All right.
let's do the intro.
The apocalypse is coming. Are you scared?
I love this shit.
Are you prepared? The masses are running, frantically running from their fear,
That easy getting that.
running with their tears, running from their lives, running from that dark shadowed creature that hides deep inside.
We're out. Oh my god, I love doing this show. This is fantastic. And we're
Still live.
live.